All right, so this is Jill, and she is a pediatric OT. I'm gonna let you take it away, and she'll talk for the first bit. We'll have time for some questions, and then we'll switch gear and do some CUSOTA-related items.
Well, thanks for having me, and thank you so much for coming. I know you guys are super busy with all kinds of things, so thank you. My name is Jill Loftus, and I'm a pediatric occupational therapist. I've been working with children and families for about 20 years. Most of them were spent in New York City, where I had my own practice there, and it's been 5 years now that I've been in Colorado, and I've kind of done a bunch of different things, worked in clinics, worked in schools, taught some classes, OTA classes, and right now I'm in the Jeffco schools. And today I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what OT looks like in the schools. How many of you are interested in pediatrics or working in the schools? Oh, wow. Okay, so that's great. So, you know, to take what I have to say about this handout with a grain of salt, this is really coming from what we are doing at Jeffco right now. Any other school district within Colorado or within the country could look a lot different, and you could have different responsibilities and all of that. But this is, I think, just a good way to get introduced to what you might expect to be doing in the schools. So I work with preschool through elementary, and that's until 5th grade here. And basically, I have a caseload of about 50 to 60 students. I would say about 40 of them are direct service, meaning I work with them between 15, 20 minutes a week. And then I also provide consult services. And those services are really for the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the other therapists, anybody in the school who works with the child who may need some education on how to use different tools or strategies with the child for their success in the classroom. I work in 4 schools currently and a bunch of different classrooms, and it's great. You know, there's a lot of diversity. I work with some very severe children with ASD, and then some children with intellectual disabilities, and then children who are in the general education classroom. Currently, Jeffco is pushing towards an inclusion model, and that is amazing. A little bit tricky at the moment. I think some processes kind of need to get cleaned up and supports need to be put in place. But obviously, we're putting kids in general education classrooms during times of the day that they will benefit from being in there and having typical peer models to grow, you know, to learn how to be a better student and how to learn social skills, how to learn some academic skills if that's something that they're working on as well. So like I said, you guys have a handout, and I sent it to Sierra on a PDF. So if you don't have a copy, I'm sure she can just forward that to you, just so you have some resources. So in preschool, I mean, that's really where, you know, a lot of the good stuff goes down, because you are working inside the classrooms, hand in hand with the teachers, and really working on ways to develop a lot of skills. We really label ourselves as motor therapists in Jeffco. So we're looking at what kinds of things would you think that we would want to look at with these little guys. Grasping patterns.
Motor planning.
Gross motor stuff. Yeah, right. So how they're navigating around the school, how they're navigating around the classroom, their posture in the chair, on the floor, safety awareness on the playground, motor planning skills on the playground, and how they're manipulating tools. So how they use scissors, how they use crayons, how they're completing visual motor tasks, so simple things like puzzles and blocks, and obviously imaginative play is a huge thing, so how they're organizing their play skills. And we also look a little bit at sensory. And you guys are familiar with the term IEP. Have you been introduced to that term, right? So there are never any goals written around sensory. There are accommodations put in place. So there's a whole section under IEP where you can put things in like sensory breaks, or what are some other things that we provide for them? Heavy work activities or other things like that. And those are discussed with the family and with the teacher to make sure that these are things that can be implemented. The one thing is you don't want to have this laundry list of accommodations in there where the teacher is not able to implement any of these things appropriately. And then in kindergarten, we're really working on those same preschool skills, and then we're adding in handwriting. So handwriting is a huge push in kindergarten, and different programs are used in different districts. In Jeffco, they use foundations. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's not my favorite program because it doesn't teach it developmentally, but that's what they use. So I really push in a lot into the classroom and really work during the writing time. So there are blocks of time in each grade that the kids are working on writing, and that's a really good time to go in there. And it's truly based on need. So I will go out to recess, and I will go out to PE or art or music or any of the specials to help those teachers. And I'm still amazed that teachers really don't know what we do and who we are and how we can help them. And I'm still amazed that even though I try to make the suggestions as easy as possible, that teachers take it either way. Some are just like, I'm doing what I'm doing. That's not something I can incorporate. Or other teachers are very thankful for the things that you're providing. So I like to keep it simple when I'm pushing into the classroom and kind of be like a ninja, just not really there, but I'm there. And then in first and second grade, we're still working on all of those things that were those preschool and kindergarten skills, and we're adding in some executive functioning, and this has been like a huge trending word right now. And it makes me think of like when I was in elementary school and you had those desks that had the cubbies inside, and every Friday your teacher would be like, drop everything on the floor and put it back in an organized way. And that's kind of what I think about when we're doing that. I go into the classrooms and they're just, kids have papers and pencils and all kinds of things under, on, below the desk. It's kind of crazy. So working on skills like that, organizing their desks, organizing their backpacks, getting their books together for what they need throughout the day, using visuals is a really big thing. That's really nice to provide for the teachers. And then around second grade, third grade is when the kids are being introduced to typing. And so we don't teach keyboarding directly, but I do provide resources that can help the teachers and the families practice keyboarding for the kids who struggle with that. And there's some great online apps, there's some great programs. So we kind of supervise that and make sure that they're learning in a really fluid way. And like I said before, we can support kids at all times of the day, and it just depends on what their needs are. If it's more motor needs and they seem to be more clumsy and it's a safety issue, we can help out during those playground times. And if it's more academic and writing and learning, we're more in the classroom. I rarely pull kids out now just because of the push with inclusion. The only kids that I take out of the room are my children with autism, because we do have a sensory room down the hallway, and it is kind of nice for them to have a break and work on some sensory and motor activities in a quiet space versus the classroom where it's a little more overwhelming at times. And we also provide a bunch of accommodations, like I said. So some of those are listed at the bottom. So things like pencil grips and slant boards and foot blocks and ball chairs and tea stools and adapted paper. So those are just some of the things that we can provide for students. And we can also provide in-services on different topics for them too. And kind of like what I'm doing here today, I'll take 10 or 15 minutes if teachers have questions and just kind of go through something simple and provide them with like a one-sheet handout on the information so that they have it if they ever really want to go back and look at it and utilize it. So I wanted to leave some time for questions since a lot of you are interested. I didn't know if you guys had any questions or comments. Yeah.
So you described yourself like in Jeffco as more like motor therapist. So often there's like a lot of overlap with the PTs. What are the specific individual requirements to qualify for a PT over OT? Sure. Because I noticed they kind of either approve you for one or the other.
So that is not the case here. Physical therapists are working with more of the really physically involved kiddos that go to specialized programs around the district. I'll give an example. So right now I have a preschool student with Down syndrome, and he has really poor body and safety awareness. He can only walk like 20 feet at a time before or plopping himself down, that's a kid who's going to get PT and OT because his needs are more global. We're really looking at it as PT's taking care of like the bigger, you know, muscles and the playground skills and the safety pieces, and we're taking care of more of those fine skills and things like that. But there are cases where, you know, we'll see something that's a little overlap and we can kind of help out. And if they really need it, then we would do a special evaluation to add the necessary service.
Okay. And then also I wanted to ask about, so if you have a teacher, classroom staff that's not very receptive to the suggestions you're making, and you're there for such a short period of time, and they're really like the implementers of doing this, how do you deal with that in regards to the IEP goals? Like
document.
Okay.
You document that you keep providing this and refusal by staff.
Do you cue parents in? Because how long does this need to continue?
I mean, if it's truly impacting the students' learning, then yes. I'd first go to the classroom teacher because they're managing these paraprofessionals in the classroom, and it's truly their role to make sure that they're following legally what they should be doing. You know, you do your best and you keep, you know, trying to implement it. And I can't say that when a parent gets involved that it helps sometimes, you know, sometimes it doesn't. And so just document that you provided it and what the result of that was, and you'll save yourself. Yeah, let's see. Let's go over here.
How much do you sit in on IEP meetings?
So I like to go to all the IEP meetings, and it just really depends on my schedule that day. So there are and the child. I feel like if the parent is a high needs parent, I would want to stay for the entire meeting. So I will move it around. But then kids that are maybe on consult services or I'm discharging, I kind of just be like, hey, they're great, they graduated, bye-bye, you know, that kind of thing. So there's a lot. There's like I did 60 of them last year.
Do you see much prevalence of OT in middle and high school?
So there definitely the services come off, and I put the kids that definitely need it on consult so that the OT is able it's a different model. All the support services kind of go in and work together as a team and kind of help each other. So it really works well with that indirect model. So the kid is getting OT in a really functional life skill manner in middle and high school. Yeah.
Speaking about documentation,
Yeah.
I worked at Federal Heights Elementary, and
Yeah.
there's an OT and OTA, and she was kind of hopping around, and she said like she kind of felt more like she was documenting than actually implementing OT with the kids, and kind of gave that to the OTAs more. So do you feel the same way?
I mean, I think that just the way that some of these programs are and have shifted, that our role is more consultative a lot of times, like giving that direct therapy doesn't happen as, you know, as you would like it to, you know, ideally as you'd like it to. But that's the way it is. And I don't feel that way about documentation. I document, so we have to document for Medicaid. And I literally, at the end of my day, I take a half an hour and I put in the note, and I'm not doing really anything that different than I did the week before. And there's a nice button that says duplicate note. You push duplicate note, save, and you move on to the next. So it really isn't that much like daily documentation. The IEPs can take a long time. The evaluations take a long time. But, you know, once you get in the groove of it, it becomes more second nature. Yeah.
One thing that makes me hesitant to go work in school setting is the limited amount of time that you get to spend with kids.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're able to make the impact that you're like enough of an impact, I guess?
No. I'll be honest though. I mean, if you really want to see kids on a daily, weekly basis where you might be making more of an impact, a hospital setting, a clinic setting, will definitely make that feel better, you know. For you, it's just the nature of being in school. You know, you're competing with 3 to 4 other specialists, plus assemblies, plus, you know, testing and more testing. So, you know, you just do it. You do what you can, and you have to look at the pros and cons of it. You know, at this point in my career, it's, you know, I'm doing my best. I also have a private practice on the side, and that's where I can sink in and kind of feel passionate about what I'm doing. And, you know, I just really look at my time off, and that it allows me to have that time to, you know, do things I like, and, you know, just had to shift my mind a little bit, you know.
I was a paraeducator in Jeffco
Yeah.
school last year or 2 years ago, and I was a one-on-one, and I wasn't allowed to sit in on the meeting.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that a rule everywhere in Jeffco?
Yeah, because a lot of times the teacher has to sit in, and so they need the coverage in the classroom in order to.
It was before school even.
Yeah, and
So,
then yeah, but and it's like the one I work at. We start at 7:30 with the meeting. The kids come at 7:50. So.
And it was just
you know,
hard.
It's
like,
true.
I, as a one-on-one, didn't know what the OT really was. I mean,
Right.
the teacher had a hard time with jargon.
Right.
Of like,
I mean, I take the kids who have one-on-ones to the room with me, and I show them, but I can't say that anything gets carried over.
I just find that really frustrating.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for doing it.
How involved are you with assessments and evaluation? Because I know you do direct and you do consultation. Is it different whenever you switch roles?
No, so every 3 years, kids get reevaluated. So you are doing, regardless of direct or indirect services, you will do an evaluation every 3 years for a child on an IEP. We have a whole library of assessments, and your observations, teacher interview, parent interview. I mean, I typically just do like an informal motor assessment. Sometimes I'll use the BMI. I do a sensory profile questionnaire. Parents don't have time to fill out questionnaires. They're very busy. And so, you know, you also want to get what they're doing at school. Yes, that home piece, but if I really want to know what the teachers are experiencing and how I can really support them in the classroom. Not saying that I don't want to help the parents, but, you know, that's really where we can be.
So do you travel between different elementary schools?
I do. I have 4 schools that are literally a mile, like in a mile
Do you
area.
go to like each one every day? Or?
I do. I have a class. I have 25 kids in one school, and I'm there 2 days a week. With they have an ASD program, so it's heavy numbers and high minutes. And then the other schools are a little bit lower need, and I'm there like half days. And so like right now my numbers are low, you know, so I kind of have some room to do some like treatment planning and some other, you know, things that kind of are allowing me to prep for like when the 10 initial evaluations I'm completing this month will go into effect. So, you know, it's just hit or miss. It's never the same. Last year was different than this year, you know.
Do a lot of the students you see in school come to your private practice?
No, I don't see any. I would never see any of the kids that I work with privately. I think it's a conflict of interest. And it's completely in the different, I work in Arvada and my kids are all in Stapleton. So yeah, separate. And I really, you know, and something that for me over time that has developed is more of a coaching model, you know, versus like really working with the kids, kind of working with the parents in more of this parent coaching model in my sessions in their home to teach them how to do this stuff when you're not there, you know, and that's, I think, a shift that's been happening in early intervention, you know, also. You just learn as you go through it, like what people need. Like I've been doing a shoe tying workshop for kids for the past year, and it's parents love it. It's like sells out every time. And I'm like, now I just need to know what the next life skill you want them to work on is, and we can make a class about it. You know, like, is it how to put your pants on the right way? I don't know. So yeah, it's just really interesting.
Do you do those workshops through the school then, or are they?
So it's funny because at the beginning of this year, I had literally every kindergarten and first grade teacher being like, Jill, we need you to come do this. And I was like, done. I was like, I have it all ready for you. And I probably have like a 96% success rate. I wanted to let you guys know that I do have a monthly newsletter for my practice, and if you guys want to sign up for it, you can go to honestot.com, and there's a button where you can sign up for it. And I also have a lot of past blogs on different topics that, as you guys are learning about pediatrics, might be helpful to you. They're all 5 tips in a 5-tip format, so I found that is really helpful when talking to parents and teachers, because it's something that's like manageable. You know, it's not like a laundry list of like, here's 4,000 fine motor activities you can do to strengthen your kid's hands. It's like, here's my favorite 5. And that's been really good and might be a nice resource for you as you guys go through your program and get into the real world. So, yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question more about licensing
Sure.
because you've moved states.
Mm-hmm.
What was that process like? Was it something that took a lot of
Yes.
time? Okay.
Yep. We're stop there. It was and I also just recently went to Alaska and worked, and that also took literally 3 years. It was very, very long. You have to get your old licenses. So if you need that, definitely prepare yourself. So, yeah, give yourself time for sure.
And what's the process?
It varies state to state, but like, for example, I've been working for 20 years. I had to send them every license from every state I've ever worked in. So I had to contact every single one of them, pay for every single license to be sent to them, then fill out the 7 to 8 page, you know, just regular application. Then the person had to review it and this and that. And it took 3 months probably to get it done. So, yep. And that was like a temporary one. Anything else? Any other questions? Well, good luck to you guys.
Thank
you.
Thank you. All right, if you're watching online, we're gonna switch gears, so. Thank you. If you have a practicum, by the way, leave whenever you need. I don't know if anyone goes at 5, but you do? Oh, yes.
Oh, you scared me.
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, is that 5? Okay, good.
Yes.
Here.
All right. We should only take about 20 or so more minutes. We're just going to go over some CUSOTA related things.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Yes.
So some reminders we have, if you haven't paid your dues, I'll send out an email that has everyone that has paid their dues. But if you haven't, they're due by October 22nd if you want Dean's reimbursement for AOTA conference. You can do those cash, Venmo, or by check. And then for Dean's reimbursement, just as a reminder to keep in the back of your mind, you guys need 8 hours of volunteer work between fall and spring semester. And then the dues are due October 22nd. And then you'll also need to attend 6 out of the 10 meetings. And you can be here or you can watch them online. And if you're watching them online, there's a password at the end for you guys to send in.
We have an attendance sheet.
Sydney, I'll take it, yeah. Oh, there you go. And then for honors courts, it's $5 and you need 15 hours of volunteer work between the fall and spring semester. And you can just do that the same as you pay dues. There's no due date right now for it. I think they're gonna accept payments until the spring or so. But I'll get back to you later if they set a date for that. That's you.
Oh, this is me. Okay.
So it's 8 hours for the Dean's reimbursement for AOTA, 15 hours for honors courts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we going to talk about more volunteer stuff later?
Yes, yeah, we'll do. Okay, that sounds good. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see this? Okay.
That little metal thing.
Did you have to do 15 hours during our 3rd year, or is it just this year? Like, is it 15 15 hours
per year.
I'll get back to you for sure. It's my understanding that it's for the school year, but I'll get back to you guys for sure. Campus is sending them out, so I'll have to do a little relay, but I think it's for the year.
but it's not like during our third year, so you don't do it during
Right, yeah.
so it's like,
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Volunteering on the side. Okay, so I'm just gonna remind you guys about OTAC conference. It's on October 12th and 13th. It's at the Radisson Hotel in Denver. So this is again a really good place for you to network and to like receive more education on OT and different practice areas and kind of like maybe dip your toes in the different areas you might be interested in. And so if you get the PowerPoint, and I think Sierra will email the PowerPoint. Yes? Okay. Yes. You can click on this link, and I think that'll take you to the OTAC conference website. And so the cost since the cost went up, there's no more early bird pricing because it's in a couple of weeks. So it's $155 for one day and $275 for both days for students. And so I will be sending out an email, either me or Sean Cook will be sending out an email to everyone for Dean's reimbursement. So just so that we're clear, there's Dean's reimbursement for AOTA conference, and there's Dean's reimbursement for OTAC. There's two separate. So I'm talking about the OTAC Dean's reimbursement, which is up to $75. And I'll send you a link, or Sean will, of like, it's like a survey type thing that you fill out and upload. I just uploaded the cost, like a screenshot of my receipt for paying for conference. And so there's only 15 allotted reimbursements. So and it's on a first come, first served basis. So if you are going to conference and once you sign up, I recommend once you get the link, also filling that out. But you have to purchase your conference tickets before you apply for Dean's reimbursement. And then the link to the schedule is down below. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me.
Is that 15 for Regis only?
Yeah, for Colorado.
Oh,
It might be Nebraska people interested in flying over. But yeah, it's for Colorado. Yes.
Do you need separate volunteer hours for that, or does that fall under the same 8 hours?
No, it's this is separate. You don't need any volunteer hours. You just need to fill out this form. This is too early, and we haven't really had any opportunities like yet for volunteering. So no, volunteer hours apply to national conference. Yeah, but there's reimbursement for both. So I will send you an email about Dean's reimbursement for OTAC, which is in October. And then AOTA is in April. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
okay, everyone, we're gonna go over volunteer stuff. So I passed out sign-up sheets for volunteer stuff. I thought that might be easier for people to sign up than to go into the Google Doc and looking, and it's forcing you guys to sign up for things. So I'll enter those into the Google Doc, and if you did sign up, I would love if you guys could commit and put it in your calendar and just make sure you follow through on that, because we're telling these sites how many people are coming. And it's just kind of a courtesy to them that everyone shows up. And if you can't, could you just email me like a week prior? Is that okay with them? Just so I can tell them the right number and we can figure that out. What else was I going to say? Do you guys like the sign-up sheets better than the Google Doc? Yeah. I feel like we do too much online, that we need more written stuff. So those are the hours. And then we have a lot of options for volunteering that are like to be determined. And I feel like that doesn't really help, because I'm like, to be determined, I don't know what my schedule looks like tomorrow. So I wanted to read off, I have 6 places that are to be determined. And could you just raise your hand if you're interested at all? And if no one raises their hand, I'm just going to not follow through with times to pick. Is that okay? All right. So Denver Rescue Mission, which would be feeding food to the homeless, right? At the homeless shelter. To be determined.
So I think, and we can talk about if you guys don't like this idea, but I think it would work easiest if we set a date, and then if you can do it, you guys say yes. Because we were gonna try and like coordinate a date, but it just doesn't really work that well. So Sydney will set a date for the ones, and if you can't do it, that's great.
Okay, raise your hand one more time. Sorry. Okay. The TLC Learning Center. It's like reading to.
It's an early education center in Longmont, and you'd mainly be doing like painting supplies and whatnot, and then you either have the opportunity to read to some students or play on the playground with them, and that's okay.
Three. Denver Recreation. This is.
So Denver Rec has it's like adapted sports, cooking classes, crafts, kind of everything. And the cool thing about this is if you are interested, you can look online. I'll send out a link again, but you can look online at the different opportunities they have. And if there's one that excites you, then I'm more than happy to coordinate you guys volunteering, or Sydney too. But for that one, they do have a volunteer form that you have to fill out, but I'll send it to you.
I've done an internship there before,
Yeah.
like 120 hours, and it was
Yeah,
they
and
were
it's
awesome. They're so good. So if you're interested
Question
in
or
recreation stuff at all, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I did Special Olympics in Denver, and it's like through Denver Rec uniform, like it's super easy to find. So yeah, really good.
Interested? Oh, good.
So can I ask a question about that? Would you guys prefer finding one you like and telling us, or us just picking one and
I
you
think
guys
pick
coming? Okay.
To be honest, I think if we don't really want to think right now. So it's for me
Just
personally,
decide
I
for
love
you.
that the date is set, activity is set, and whether or not I can make it will determine if I can.
Okay. Question
Yes.
about dances.
Yes, we're getting there. But go ahead.
Sorry,
Well,
I just,
I'll do it next.
well, just because there's 2 events on the 19th, so are those like other dates that are up there, like for sure options we can do?
What's
Or
the
is
night?
it-
What's the other night?
You did the pizza.
The
On the
Pizzability.
Okay, about Pizzability.
Oh, sorry.
Pizzability, you can do any Friday of the month, but I just picked a date because, like I said, TBD every Friday. No one's going to show up. So we can change that date for Pizzability if you guys want to do like the next Friday or the Friday before. Okay, so maybe
The
the next
Friday?
Friday.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the
The
dances
Friday
are
before
every month,
conference.
and
They are.
I guess like I was just saying like, are the other months options for the dances?
Yeah,
Or
and
is
for
it, like-
Pizzability. So they're
Yeah.
both monthly opportunities. So you
Okay.
could kind of pick either or for maybe that Friday. Or we could change that Friday.
Yeah, like maybe some people want to just go monthly to the same place and have
Yeah.
that like set.
So we'll keep that Friday, and if no one really signs up for that, either or, it's fine because they're both every month. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And can we like say I can't go the 19th, but maybe I can go the next Friday?
Then go.
I can just show up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Karina
Cool. That's
Watson, Karina Watson for OT1s. You can find her email. Just type in Karina Watson in the Creighton email. And she knows a lot of detail about Pizzability, and I'm pretty sure she goes like every Friday.
Yeah. She
So-
goes with the AOTA students from.
Well, they own Brewability, and then they're starting Pizzability.
It's not
too,
open
so-
yet.
Right.
But we would be volunteering, helping making the sensory wall, helping building the menu that's visually appealing to people with
And they
sensory.
have employees
disorders.
that also have disability, so you're doing it both for clientele and staff.
And I follow them on Facebook, and they're starting to train their employees about how to make pizzas, and it was so cool.
And to clarify, Audra, I think for the Rise Dance Festivals, if you want to do that, it's like Denver Rec where you need to
You
fill
have
out a form. And
Yeah.
they do a background check, but they cover the cost. You just send it.
Okay, perfect. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like work on stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we can just show up.
So yeah, Erica.
For Denver I was gonna look up some stuff right now. So
Yeah.
Which like
I
September.
don't care. Yeah, it doesn't. And if anyone's, if you're more interested in like sports, we could do a sport or cooking. It doesn't matter.
So
to me.
my contact before was Sarah.
Yeah.
I can look up and see if she's still the contact person because she's the one that does like all the paperwork and gets all the volunteers coordinated.
She told me to pick an event, and depending on how many projects, like I don't know, basketball, you could do a decent amount of volunteers, but if it's something like swimming, you could probably only have 1 or 2. So if a lot of people are interested, we should probably do something that's like more like sports or something.
Okay. Yes.
So to receive the CUSOTA credit, are these the only volunteer things can we do, or can we do separate ones?
Sort of. So if you want to do another one, you have to let me know or Sydney know so we can like CUSOTA coordinate it.
Okay. So we like have to go through you guys.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're if you have an organization that you guys volunteer for right now, it won't count until one of us is able to reach out to the people and make a connection there.
Okay.
But if you guys have like an organization that you like or that you volunteer for, we love having any feedback. So,
yeah, I have the same question. So for that, if we do outside volunteer, we just need.
Yep. So sort of, yeah. So if you've done some work, then it won't count as CUSOTA until we create that connection with them. So essentially, we can do it with any organization. We just have to.
So I think before you volunteer with whatever you're doing, tell us, because like if you did it last week and we still don't know about it, I don't think it's going to count yet because we haven't made that connection with them yet.
I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So just email us and we'll try and coordinate something. Maybe give us like a contact information to reach out to them.
And it just has to be an option that's available for multiple students. Like if it's only available for you, then you can't count it. But if it's, other students can also volunteer, then it can.
Okay, I'm gonna go through these quickly. Colorado Springs therapeutic riding. Is anyone interested? I know it's pretty far south. Colorado Springs, you guys would go?
Maybe.
I think
Is that one the Littleton?
No, that's a
That's
different one.
a different. So there's Littleton Hippotherapy. There's My Heroes, which is another hippotherapy.
Yeah, I was talking about My Heroes.
Okay.
I take that.
Okay. So Colorado Springs might be a little too far. Is that where we're getting? Okay. Crying for
It's Karen for kids.
Karen.
Yeah.
Crying for kids.
I did a thing with them.
Okay. So
It's
now
fine.
we're gonna care for them. So is anyone interested in that?
It's
It's
hippotherapy.
hippotherapy, so you're gonna be helping / spotting people while they ride horses, and OTs, PTs, speech are helping the children or adults. I'm guessing it's children, but do therapy while on the horse.
It's
And
really
I
fun.
think there are dates available every day of the week except for Sunday.
So again, I would probably pick like a Friday or Saturday. Yeah. 4-ish, 5.
Well, carpool.
And then
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Rise, dance. You went to that,
I
right?
went to that last
Will
Friday,
you
yeah.
share your experience?
So it was really humbling because there was at least like 60 to 80 individuals with disabilities that came and just danced in this facility. They rent out this senior living facility and they have a dance every single month. And I was kind of telling her about like what we do, and she was like, "Can you get more of you guys to come? Because this next month they're doing Halloween,
Yes.
and then in November they want to do a casino night."
Yeah.
And she's like, if you guys could come and be like the table managers, it'd be like bingo or like, easy games. But I got to dance with a bunch of them, and I got to help serve food to them, and it was just really humbling.
I feel like it would be a really good bonding
fun.
opportunity
It
for all of
would.
us, like the OT1s,
Yeah.
OT2s, if we
Yeah.
got like 10 people to go or whatever.
Did you say it was called
RISE, like all caps, dance.
I can't do this.
This one that
Yeah,
keeps
I
coming up
agree.
in LA.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
November,
It's in late.
put on my jam.
Just November.
Okay, so you guys are wanting, anyone can do October too. It's Halloween themed. By November, more people are willing. Okay. And then another thing with that is she emailed me separately and was like, we loved our decorations. We want to do a photo booth coming up. Would you guys be willing to make decorations maybe in our October meeting for the November dance?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe she would come she said she works till 4:30, so we could maybe ask her to come at 3:30 and we could just do an hour before CUSOTA and we'd all get an hour just there.
And she's just making decorations.
Yeah, she said she'll bring the supplies and everything to us. We don't have to go anywhere. So it's an easy hour, and I think it would be fun and rewarding.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
we'll see what she says about that. I'll email her. Let's see. I think we went through all these. Does anyone else have questions about volunteer stuff? I think. Go ahead.
Just exact locations, because I'm not quite sure. Because I looked up Temple Grandin, Fort Collins, and I didn't get any.
So if it works for you guys, I think the plan was to, if we have upcoming events, at least a week's notice, we'll email you guys, make sure you're going to it, give you the
exact
location, the exact
address.
location. If that works for you guys.
Yes.
And you can also look on My Heroes Hippotherapy. Okay. They have the exact address on there too.
Just this is equine science.
It is kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But
I know last year I typed it in and I just did that.
people who do sign up, like she said, I'm going to email them a week in advance. That's like kind of your opportunity to say, I'm not going to go, but don't do that because that's not fun. And then I'll give you more details, and if you have any other questions, I'll answer them then.
So if you guys signed up for something, write it in your planner now before this paper, before you leave the paper and it's out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. So just that way, because we want to keep, and I think this is what Cindy already said, but we want to keep like a good connection with these places. And if we say there's going to be 15 people there and there's only like 3 that show up, that doesn't look very good. And like they're counting on us, so we're all gonna be good people and volunteer.
And if you do happen to forget, I'm going to update the Google Drive with everyone's name who signed up. So when in doubt, look at that or email me and I have all the information.
Were you just at the DFC one?
Oh, shoot.
Yes, I kind of forgot about that. So that's over the weekend, and I think as far as my knowledge, you would just be going to help facilitate. So if it wasn't on the sign up sheet.
It's not. I didn't.
That's okay. So we'll pass one around really quick too if you want to go to it.
Can anyone just raise their hand? Can anyone go on the 6th? I know we all leave for field work
The 6th, go where? I'm sorry.
To Greeley to do that.
Oh.
No, kind of too soon.
I mean,
She said she's in.
I can't. Because I mean, I work for them, so.
Yeah, we don't want to. If you want volunteer hours and if you'd like to help, that's great, and you can sign up. But
you can think about it and email.
Yeah, I told them
for
to
now, we'll
gauge
see.
how many people would be interested. So.
Well, because they've been emailing us about work, so like.
I know. They will be.
All right.
I want to.
Yeah.
So with the Denver rep, like, can we just, since you guys have that connection established, can we just go and fill out the paperwork and sign up for whatever we want to volunteer for?
Yeah, if you wanna volunteer for something different than what we've set up, like what we might look at, then okay. Why don't you, if you wanna volunteer for something, then just email Sydney, and it'll still be CUSOTA and whatnot. To gather more people. Most of those events are better with 1 or 2 people anyway.
That's what I was thinking, if it was like a craft class or something.
Yeah.
Like, if I saw it on the calendar.
Yeah, then
can I
email
just
me and
sign
I'll
up?
put, yeah.
Or like tell you that I want to go.
Yeah.
Go call them.
I'll tell everyone, but you can still go even if you're the only one.
Okay, cool. That's what I was
Since we
just wondering if I could kind of
Yeah.
look at the calendar and pick what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then report it to you guys like, hey, I was there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
And just as a side note, if you guys volunteer, make sure that we know you've done it and we record it, because there was some issues last year where they weren't recorded or something happened, and then they didn't get James reimbursement. So to make sure that we have that communication.
Email me right after. And I mean, it doesn't really have to be right after, but like within the week, so it doesn't get lost.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving just so we can go through and get you guys back to him. Oh, sorry, Whitney. So we have nominations have been sent in for secretary. So if you guys will, I'm going to send out an email to CUSOTA members, and if you would just vote for one of the 4 people listed by the next meeting, and the next meeting will announce who is our secretary. And then these are our upcoming meetings. We did make a change. So October 30th is a Tuesday. We changed it because labs got Halloween. That's why we changed it. Halloween was the night, so we changed it. Yeah. So it's now October 30th. It's still the same time. And then the other meetings are still the following Wednesdays, and it's in here. And then for the next meeting, we have Sherry Carmen is coming from TLC Learning Center. I can't remember what she said she was going to talk about right now, but it's a nonprofit organization. It is pediatric, but she does home health, and then there's clinical work, and then she is also the therapy manager, so she has like 7 different positions. She's a great brain to pick. And if you are watching, if you have questions, let me know. But if you're watching online, the email or the password is volunteer. Email it to Sydney so we can record your attendance.
Do the nominees have a chance to like introduce themselves really quickly?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, last year they didn't have, for some reason, they didn't have a booth.
Why don't
I think that's a great idea. So
I think what we did in the past is like an email a little blurb about yourself, like a couple sentences, and then maybe we can like send one email like this is each person. But like I would just make it concise.
Okay.
Like
yeah. So I'll reach out to the
like,
people that nominated, and then you can send it in, and then when I send out for elections, you guys, everyone will be able to see your little blurb and go into the form and vote.
I think it's hard just because not everyone can it here.
Right.
So okay, that's why we do it.
Oh, effort in there, and a lot of people. Yeah. Perfect.
all right.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, girl. Advocate.